Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I am Ryan Bowling. Thank you for joining me. As we all know, after the Supreme Court made the decision to basically overturn Roe v. Wade, there has been a complete, volcano, for lack of a better word to use, from the radical left and the left period about this decision to overturn the right for an abortion on a federal level. And a particular individual on MSNBC said something that you can't help but wonder what she exactly meant by that. She stated, and I'm quoting her phrase about, there's a war being waged and we need to armor up. We need to armor up. Now, what exactly did she mean by that? What exactly does she mean by that? What I'm going to do, I'm going to read this article. It's a very short article. I'm going to read this article with her in her exact words, and then I'm going to give you what I believe she meant when she said we must armor up. So let's get into this. The article says Representative Jackie Speier said Friday on MSNBC's Hallie Jackson's report that the Supreme Court's Dobbs decision overturning Roe v. Wade means, quote, there is a war out there and we need to recognize that we've got to armor up, end quote. Speier said, this is the greatest setback of women's rights in the history of this country. Notice the terms and the words she's using. These people are not, they're not reporting facts. Now, this is a representative, Jackie Speier, said this is a representative. So, but these representatives are not giving necessarily news or factual data. What they're doing is they're giving their opinion. Now, I give my opinion as well, but I usually give my opinion after the fact that I've read the article or read the factual data. Then I give you my opinion on what I think it means. These individuals get on these news shows and they give their opinion right off the bat. And these opinions use certain terminology and certain phraseology to incite emotions in the viewers. But I'm not going to get into that in detail. I'm going to get into that in detail a little later. She says, this is the greatest setback of women's rights in the history of this country. No, it's not. Really? Name it. How is this the greatest setback of women's rights in the history of America? Name it. How is this the greatest setback? They overturned Roe v. Wade and they're keeping the federal government out of it, and they're putting it in the hands of the state to regulate what they want to do with abortion, whether they want to ban it completely or whether they want to regulate it or whatever. How is this the greatest setback of women's rights in the history of this country? She goes on to say, we've never had the Supreme Court take away rights from people. Really? She said, we've never had the Supreme Court take away rights from the people. I believe that's a straight out lie, because the Supreme Court back in the 1960s banned the right for people to have prayer in the schools. And as a matter of fact, in certain states, this is on a federal level now when the federal government did this. In certain states, you can't even have I was reading somewhere where there was a coach that decided that he wanted to have prayer with his group on the field. And I think he got fired with his team on the field. And I think he got fired. I believe he got fired from his job because he was doing something that was unconstitutional. Really? You say the Supreme Court never took away the rights from the people? You clearly took away the rights of this man to freely express his religious beliefs. The Supreme Court had been taking away the rights of the people all the time, but it's mostly on the right. It's mostly conservatives they're taking the right from. It's never, man. Let me calm down. I just don't like lies. She goes on to say, it's ironic that yesterday they expanded the rights for gun owners, and today they're taking rights away from women to control their own body. They are, in fact, mandating government mandates of pregnancy in this country. It cannot stand. We are going to take it to the November elections. Okay. Then she goes on, she continued, I think it's a very real threat. I think it's also a threat to have a national ban on abortions. And that's why in my state of California, you mean California, we can't take that lightly because we've got great laws on the books. I'm glad I don't live in California. And the governor is about to sign one that enshrines it in the Constitution. What does she mean by that? The governor's about to sign one that enshrines it in the Constitution. Does anyone even know the Constitution? Does she know the Constitution? She goes on and says, I absolutely believe they are on a path to ban contraception to affect trans persons in terms of their rights, to ban same-sex marriages and have an effect on LGBTQ rights in this country. This is a war. There is a war out there, and we need to recognize that we've got to armor up. Now, that's one that I wanted to look at right there. When she made the statement that we got to armor up. There's a war out there. We got to armor up. What exactly did she mean by that? Did she mean do we need to physically armor up, or people on the left need to physically armor up and go and attack those on the right? Or was it metaphorically? Let me say this. I guarantee you, if that had been Donald Trump saying that, or anyone on the right, or any politician or spokesman on the right saying anything even remotely similar to that, it would have been like, oh my goodness, they would have tried their best to counsel him. They would have been all on Donald Trump like flies on doo-doo. But let them say this, let someone on the left say something like this, it's perfectly okay. Question is, what did she actually mean by that? Let me give you this opinion in the summation of this video. In my opinion, based on my studies and my readings about Marxist revolutions, that's what I believe that this is designed to do. Whether this woman, this representative, was told to say what she said, or whether or not she was trained to be a Marxist, to keep division going, to use certain terminology and certain words, phrased in a certain way to incite certain emotions in the people that listen to her and watch her, I believe that that's what this is all about. I believe that this is all designed to cause a Marxist revolution from within this country, to pit the right against the left and the left against the right in order to get them to clash, cause a war, race war, political war, all kinds of wars that are being stirred up between factions, male against female, female against male, straight against, gays against the straight against the gays, all of this kind of stuff is being stirred up. All these things are divisive measures. The phrase that I believe that she's using is a divisive measure to keep people divided, or that we got to armor up. Now, let me say something else about this armoring up. Whether she meant it metaphorically or symbolically or physically, I believe, in my opinion, she meant it physically. Why do I believe that? Because throughout the years, particularly during Trump's tenure and during the beginning of Biden's tenure, it has always been the left that have initiated acts of violence against people on the right. It has always been the left who have initiated or started acts of violence towards people on the right. Whether or not people on the right defended themselves or not is not an issue, because defending yourself is not the problem. The problem is when you start fight. You start a fight, you're going to get a reaction. Now, with some people on the right, they just let them beat up on them. They just let them do it. I strongly advise people not to do that. I believe that people should defend themselves, regardless of what political affiliation. You have a right to defend yourself, but you shouldn't initiate violence. And I believe that this phrase that she's using is designed to purposely incite violence in the hearers and viewers, to incite them to get angry, say, yeah, we need to armor up. Armor up in the sense we need to get guns, we need to get knives, we need to get whatever we need to get so that we can come against them in November. Because come November, it's going to be a hellhole, in my opinion. In my opinion, because the threat is that the Democrats are going to lose those seats in the House of Representatives and the Senate. They're going to lose their seats, and their radical regime and radical worldviews are going to be turned over, if you will, for lack of a better word. And they cannot deal with that. You are messing with the vision of the anointed, that Thomas Sowell says. You messing with their vision. And anyone that messes with their vision, they got to go. Vision and facts don't match. When it comes to the radical left, facts and data and information and truth don't match. As my shirt says, truth is the first casualty of tyranny. Meaning simply that when tyrannical governments take over, one of the first things that they take control of is truth. They ban all truth. They censor all truth. It's the first casualty of tyranny. And that's what we're seeing going on right now. The censoring of real truth. But what they do is they switch it around. They make it look like it's the conservatives or those on the right that's giving misinformation. That's a lie. That's mind control. I don't believe that at all. They're switching it around, people. They're switching it around to make it look like they're doing the right thing. They're putting people in this country in a massive, intensive, mind control trance state. That's what I believe they're doing. So I believe that she's saying this physically. I don't believe this is a symbol. But what do you guys think? Do you think this is a metaphor, or do you believe she's just saying this symbolically? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to this video. God bless you all, and see you again on another Black Conservative.